Hello, welcome, good evening, and good to see you this evening. Okay, Musa Ibrahim, you're welcome, and Comfort Michael, you're welcome. Good to see you this evening. Happy Sunday, and welcome to this data analytics class. This class we'll be looking at sales analysis, and we'll take a simple data and we'll work with the data. We'll analyze the data, and then we'll create a dashboard from scratch using Excel 2021 and above. So I want to say welcome and let's get going. I'll start immediately as we continue. Others will come to join us. If you check, okay, Samuel Tubonimi present, Kingsley present, you're all welcome. Please, if you can hear me, just wave. If you can hear me, wave. Let me, if I have two, three persons confirming that they can hear me, we can continue. Okay, Kingsley is waving. That means he can hear me. And okay, Comfort Mike. Okay, so let's get going. Today we're looking at building a sales dashboard, and we're taking it from scratch. This is very good for sales managers. I'm part of the sales team in Skill Ahead. So this is one of the ways we get to improve what our team members they do. We get to assess what is happening, and then we build at the end of it. And what we get from the analysis, we get to know which products customers prefer, and we get to know why they prefer that product, and we use that to refine the system. So people in sales can use this same skill, this same knowledge to improve their performance, to know which area they should focus their energy on when working with sales. So that is what we're looking at today, more from the business angle, how to analyze a sales data and how to create a dashboard. Also, if you're the leader of a team and you have to present to management the performance and what is happening and what should be done next, this comes in very handy. So we get to it immediately. I On this particular platform, I've added the link to the data set we use for today's class. This is the link to the data sets. I'm putting it up so that you can download it too. This is the link. You can just click on the link in your YouTube and you download it immediately. So I want to get on with it. Let me also download the link. Let's continue from there. The tool we will use for today's class is Excel 2021. If you have a version higher than that, that will come in very handy. That'll be very okay. Okay, so let's start. Let's download the data. This is the link. I've dropped the link so that we can easily get the link to the data set that we intend to use for this class. Okay, I'm sharing my screen so I can. Okay, let me get this clearly, please. Okay, so I'm downloading the data now from the link, tiny URL and it's a one. And when you get to that particular point, if you go to file, you will see download. When you get to download, you will see the first option. There's Microsoft Excel, and I click on that option, and the file is downloaded to my system. So I go to my downloads and I double click. I want to open the file in Excel, then I'll begin to share my screen. Okay, so at this point, let me share my screen. I have the file downloaded, and I'll bring up my screen so that we can work on this together. Okay. Yes, I believe you can see my screen. Please, if you can see my screen, just um, okay. Please confirm that you can see the Excel sheet that I just shared. That's the file set we want to use. I have also dropped, like I said, I've dropped the link to this particular data. You can always download it, and if you check the description section, you'll see the data too to also work with. Okay. Eddie said yes. These are the link. I've dropped the link. You can see it. Does it? Okay, Chidozie said yes. You can see the link. Let me drop it again here, and so I've dropped the link again to the data set we're using for this particular class. You can download the data set. Now we can start with this. So let's get into the class for today. So there's this business owner in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is one of the states in Port Harcourt is one of the cities in River State in Nigeria, and the business owner wants us to analyze their data and come up with solutions based on what is happening in the business and based on what this data provides. Interestingly, the business owner is not in town, and he wants us to analyze this data. So it happens in many cases. Um, so what we have in this data is we have the date section, so covering this data is a 2-year data, 2014 and 2015. And we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So the 12 months is complete. And the second one, we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. The second one is also complete. So 2014, 2015, 2-year complete data. Now let's look at the branches. The business has 3 branches: GRA, a branch in GRA, a branch in town, a branch in Woji. And let's look at the next one. We look at the sales agent. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 sales agents, more like we say salespersons. 11 of them, and the products that they sell, they have Apple, Compaq, Dell, HP, Lenovo. And this is the units. Okay, like for example, a customer bought 2 units, 3 units, and up to 96 units. What we're doing here, we're trying to check that there is no zero, because if there's a zero, that means likely there's an issue with one of them. Okay, so then the next one is the price. The price is from, let's see, from 125, okay, from 129, 1.29 to 275. Okay, sorry for that, to 275. So we have these particular items. Now, what we just did now is trying to understand the data set. So let's look at what is it that the business owner wants us to do. Most data analytics process starts with what we call a hypothesis. More like, in some cases, you call them business case or problem statements. So in this case, the business owner wants us to answer one simple question: what are the factors responsible for revenue per branch? What are the factors responsible for increase in revenue in each of the branches? So what could be the reason? If we have one branch doing better than the other branch, what could be the reason? As a business, what can we do? So the key question in this particular analysis The key question, I just typed it in the comment section, is what are the factors responsible? So let me bring this up. So what are the factors responsible for increase in revenue per branch? That is the key question. There are other questions the business owner may likely ask. Um, for example, the business owner may likely ask questions including what is the total sales within the 2-year period? The business owner may ask what is the highest selling product so that we know which products to import more. The business owner may ask what is the performance of each of the staff. Interestingly, the business owner can say, okay, if I want to fire somebody, who should I fire? Or if I want to promote somebody, who should I promote based on this data? So there are many questions that we can answer using this data. We'll attempt to answer some of them. But the key question, which we call hypothesis is a fact. Actually, is what a fact, something that is not yet true. So we want to confirm. So it may be like, what are the factors responsible for increase in revenue? So that is what is guiding this analysis. So to having set this question, the next thing is for us to get this data. Interestingly, we have this data. We downloaded it from the Google Drive, and we have the data. Then the next step is to do what is called EDA. EDA stands for Exploratory Data Analysis, meaning trying to understand the data. And that is what we did earlier. We checked the date that it has is for a period of 2 years. We checked the branches that it has a total of 43 so a total of 3 branches. We checked the staff, that's a total of 11 staff. We checked the number of products. They have 5 products. And we checked the units. We confirmed there is no zero, there is no negative number, the number of units. Then we can do what is called a quick analysis. Quick analysis, if you press Ctrl A on a data that is in a table, you have this small indicator here. So if we click this indicator, we'll see total. For example, we can quickly check the count. So we have a total of 43 rows. Now, for us to have 43, 43, 43 all through means there is no missing data. Assuming there is a missing data, let me give an example. Let's say there's a missing data here. You'll see that we have 42. At that point, as an analyst, before you even do any other thing, you know that there's a missing data. I Ctrl Z to return that. And we can also do other quick analysis. We can check the total. For example, if we mouse over this, quickly we have seen that a total of 2,121 units of this item were sold during the period. And there are other things too we can do. Now, all this is just to give us a general idea, trying to understand the data before we start. The next step we want to do now is what is called the cleaning and the transformation. In data analytics term, we know it as extract, transform, and load. For us to be able to calculate the revenue, because this whole data, the owner of the business wants us to look at the revenue generated as in the amounts. And the revenue is units multiplied by price. Now that revenue is not here. So we need to transform this data. We need to create that revenue column. And the revenue is units multiplied by price. The owner of the business may also want us to check which of the days of the week do we have more sales. So we need to extract that information called weekday from the date column. And there may likely be other issues. So because of this, we need to load this data in Power Query. So let's start. So we go to data. The tool we will use for cleaning this particular data set, the name of the tool is Power Query. So I'm heading to Power Query. Now, interestingly, this video is on YouTube, so you can always come back to YouTube. You can go to the replay, you can check the files, and then you follow with the class. So let's get into Power Query, and then let's start cleaning. So we go to data, and we go to get data. Let me save this. Go to data. We go to get data, and we say from Excel. Now, why did we say from Excel? Because the file we're actually working with is an Excel file. I saved the data in my downloads. I just downloaded the data, and this is the data. Sales data ph new. I click import. So the tool that will open this data for us is called Power Query. There are some cases when people do data analytics, they love to do everything directly on the dirty data. That is okay. But Excel has a tool called Power Query. With Power Query, there are lots of things that you write formula with that you don't need to write formula when it comes to Power Query. And I sometimes tell students in my class that if you know how to use Power Pivot very well, there are some formulas and some functions you may not even bother to work on them so much, because Power Pivot or Power Query will help you do all that calculation. So let's head to Power Query. We're in Power Query now and we look for the data. I click on this table. Now this is the data, very good. If you click on this one too, you also see the data. Now the difference between these two is this is a table and this is the worksheet. So they give you the same information. We can pick on any one. For this particular class, let's pick on the table. So I take on table. They view the same information. We can pick. I click on table and I click on transform data. And this will load the Power Query editor. Okay, so in the Power Query editor, there are some simple things we want to do. Power Query is an add-in in Excel that you can use to extract, transform, and load. What we just did now, we just extracted the data. Now we want to transform it. So the Power Query environment, this is more like the same menu in Excel. And this is where we have the apply steps. Any step we take will come down here to look at that step, and then we correct the step. If we make, for example, want to repeat a step, we want to go back to a step, like more like an error, you can't undo in Power Query. Instead, you come here and you delete the step. Here you will see the name of the tables you're working with. For in this case, just one table, and this is the data we want to clean. So the first thing we quickly want to do is to confirm the number of rows. So we have 43 rows and 6 columns. So 43 rows, remember when we checked earlier, it was 43, that means it's correct. And the number of columns is 6 also, that means it is correct. Now in Power Query, each column has 3 things. 1, you have the data type. 2, you have the name of the column. And then 3, you have the filter. When we click filter, we can check through the data and we can sort, we can set, we can sort, and then we can filter some items. 2, if we click on the name of the table, if we right click on it, we'll see that there are a lot of things. We can delete a column, we can change the data type, we can transform and trim, we can split, lots of things we can do. Then this third one is the data type. We can use here to set the data type, whether it is money, currency, or date, or any other data type. So let's start working on this immediately. Now, the first thing we'll check column in all the data is to check the data type. They are all correct. So the data type for this dates column, if we check here, is date. So it is correct. We check the data type here, it is text. ABC stands for text. So text, it is correct. The name of the sales agent is also text. So text is correct. If we come to products, check the data type is text. So text is ABC, that's the symbol, is also correct. The number of units. So laptop is whole number. So it's not possible for somebody to buy 1.5 laptops. So it must either be 1 or 2. So whole numbers. So when we see 1, 2, 3 means it's a whole number. When you see decimal, that means it's a fraction. Okay, so this is also correct. Then when we come to the price is currency, it's money. So it's on 1.2 decimal place. That means it's not correct. We need to change it. We need to clean it. So click on it and then say currency. It will actually change column type. We say replace current. We have set it to currency. Okay, now we're through with that cleaning. Next thing we quickly want to do is to begin to transform the data. 1, we want to generate the name of the weekday from this dates column. If it is an ordinary Excel, we need to write formulas. Interestingly, in Power Query, we don't write so many formulas. Power Query will help us automate, do some of the tasks. So if I click on the dates column, go to add column, and in add column, you will see this section called dates. When you click the dates, you see day, and when we get to day, we'll see name of day. If we click name of day, automatically it will generate the day, the weekday from this particular date. And that is one of the things the owner of the business wants us to check. The sales per weekday, what's the performance? Okay, so we have the day name. The next thing we want to do is we want to check the revenue. And we said the revenue is unit multiplied by the price. So an easy way to do this, one of the ways to do this, if we click on the unit, hold down control, click on the price, then we go to add column and we come to standard. Now in standard, we'll see what is called multiply. If we click on multiply, quickly it will do this multiplied by this for us. So we just come here and then we click revenue. So remember this analysis at this level, since it's a basic level, we want to base our analysis on the revenue per item, per branch, per weekday, per salesperson. So everything will be dependent on the revenue. So at this point, we are through with cleaning and transformation. We can do other things too. Let me just show you an example. We can extract the year from this data also. Simply, we can click on this and then come to this point and click year. We'll extract year. We can extract months and other details. So we're okay with this. Now let's go to home and let's click on close and apply. Good. So this will load the data in Excel. Now let's get this. This is the dirty data and this is the cleaned data. So we have been able to take this dirty data. So let me change the name. All right, click on it and then say rename. Let's use the word dirty and let's call this one, let's rename it to database. This is the data set we want to work with. Okay. So now that we have the data, we're through with the first step in the data analytics process, which is we have clarified what the hypothesis, what the business question, what the owner wants us to do. We have confirmed the data, we extracted the data, we transformed the data, we also cleaned the data. So the next step now is we want to start the modeling, because in the data analytics process, okay, somebody said the screen is not moving also, video is static, nothing is showing. Oh, so we are not following, sir, the screen is not moving. Okay, I'm just seeing the messages now. I'm just seeing the messages now. Okay, so please let's confirm. Okay, let me pause a little and then I'm not sure anyone can data process in Power Query. Okay, how is the screen now? Because if it's how is the screen now? All through the Power Query, nothing. Okay, Chidozie said all through the Power Query, nothing showed. Okay, and I might say I'm not sure anyone saw the ETL process. Oh, so sorry. So sorry. I'm just seeing this now. Okay, so what I'll do, let me take the ETL process again. Let me take the ETL process again. Hope that is okay with us. I'll run through the ETL process again, and I'll pay more attention now to what is happening in the chat section. I'll delete this data. I'll delete this column. I want to do it again. So back to the dirty data. We have confirmed that we got the data from the client and we've confirmed the business case. So how do we take this data to Power Query? Power Query is a tool, is an add-in in Excel that is used to extract, transform, and load data. As a data analyst, is one of the tools you must learn to use. I tell people in my classes that there are 3 tools in Excel and Power BI you should be very good at. One of them is called Power Query, and that is where we are now. So how do we activate, how do we bring in Power Query? So go to data and then go to get data. This data we're working with is an Excel file. So go to from file and then select, go to from file, then select from Excel workbook. The data, interestingly, I downloaded it into, I kept it in my downloads. So I go to my downloads and this is the particular data set. I click on sales data PH and I click on import. Okay, so before that, let me confirm with us in the group, please. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Yes, I'm seeing our questions. Somebody said, okay, Uchechi said yes, it's clear now. Now somebody said, how do I get the dirty data? I dropped the link to the dirty data. Check the chat section. You'll see where I dropped the link to the dirty data. That's number one. Then number two, I also added this is a link to the dirty data. You can just type tinyurl.com/anete1. It will lead you to my Google Drive and you can download the data. But secondly, I'll drop the data in the link to the data in the description section. You can always download it. Okay, so I'm getting feedback that it is clear now. So let's proceed. Let's go back to the class. Just a sec. Okay, so now we have the data in the navigator. We have either you can click this one or you click the sheet one. Now the difference between this one, if you check this icon, this is a table and this is the worksheet. So anyone you click, it will give you the same results. So I click on table one and I click on transform data. Now this will load the Power Query editor. So Power Query editor, we said, is used for cleaning and transformation. So this is more like the Excel menu, and we have the query settings. Now in the query settings in Power Query, you don't undo. So if there's a mistake or a step that you want to cancel the step, you just come to this X and click X here. Now we have the tables and we have the particular table we're working with. This is the first table, so let me delete the first one. In your own case, I have table one, so don't worry to delete it. I'm repeating this task, that's why I have table one there. Then this is the particular table we're working with. Now let me explain the Power Query environment, just this part. We said each column is made up of three things. One is the filter, where you see what is inside the data. You can filter, you can sort. Two is the name of the column, where you can right click and you do different tasks. You can delete the column, you can change the you can transform the data, you can also change the data type. Then number three is the icon representing the data type. We have different data types. For money, we use currency. For numbers, whole numbers, like if you're counting number of persons, we use whole numbers. If you're dealing with numbers that have fractions, for example, somebody's weight, you can use decimal numbers. If you're working with dates, if you're working with text, for example, somebody's name and time. So each data type must be set. Each column of data, you must set the correct data type before you do anything. Now we check the first column. We have date here. So we confirm the data type is correct, date. We check the second column, branch, it should be text. You can see text is represented with ABC. We check the third one, ABC. We check the fourth one, ABC. It's correct. Product is ABC. Then the units, the number of items should be whole numbers. When we click on it, you can see whole numbers is represented by 1, 2, 3. So it's correct. And then when it comes to the price, the money is currency. So when we click here, you can see 1.2 is decimal. So it's not correct. We need to change it. So I click currency. It will ask you change type. You say replace current. That means yes, go ahead and change it. So the data type is correct. Now for this data, we also checked that the number of columns is 43, the number of columns is 6, and the number of rows 43. So what we want to do, remember the owner of the business wants us to confirm what are the factors responsible for the revenue generated in each branch. We don't have that column called revenue, so we need to transform this data. We need to create that column called revenue. And revenue is simply units multiplied by price. Now, instead of writing Excel formulas, in Power Query, we can simply click on this column, hold down Control, and click on price. It will select the two columns. Go to Add Column, and you will see Standard. When you click on Standard, you will see Multiply. So when we click Multiply, we'll have that multiplication. So we change the title here, just double click and change it to revenue. So this gives us units multiplied by price equal to revenue. We have that revenue section. Now, one of the things to the one of the business wants us to check is which day of the week do we have more activity? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as it is. So we can extract the day name from this date column. How to do that? Click on the date column, go to add column, and you will see dates. When you click on dates, we go to day and we'll see the name of day. When we click on it, if we scroll down to the end, we'll now see that we have the name of the day, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and each day as it is spread all through. So for this particular data, that is the simple cleaning steps. Okay, let me quickly be sure that we are together. Um, Hello, sir. Video is static again. Can't see. Um, okay, so if the video is static again, please 1 minute. Let me. I think it's could it be an issue with network? Let me confirm from my other system. Oh, so video is static again. Okay. Okay, so what could be Power Query process is not showing. Video is static again. Okay, so you know what? Now a quick one. I was supposed to do the cleaning using Power Query, but since Power Query is static, I'll do the cleaning. Okay, I think I know why it is static. I know why it is static. Give me 1 minute. Let me bring it up. I know why it is static. So window. Okay, so what I will do is I'll do the the system, the software I'm using, StreamYard. I think the system is not allowing Power Query to run. I'll sort that out later. But for today, I'll do the cleaning directly on Excel. So I'll close Power Query discard. I'll close Power Query and I'll do the cleaning directly on Excel. So let's come back to Excel. Sincerely, I apologize for this. Um, yes. So please, I'm typing something in the comment section that I will redo the cleaning now in Excel. So I think the software I'm using, which is StreamYard, I think the template is not allowing Power Query to run because Power Query runs on top of Excel. So I'll just do the cleaning directly on Excel and I'll ignore the Power Query part. So what we want to do is we want to create the revenue column from this data. So what we need, we come down here, we use this dirty data, we'll convert it to the clean data. So the first thing, I'll confirm that my data set is in table format, and I come down to this point and I do equal to this multiply by this, and I press enter. So to create the column for me called revenue. So this is my revenue column. I'll come to this top and I'll change this to revenue. And quickly I'll confirm the data type. Okay, it's the data type here is date, and this one will confirm this two. We'll select this two and we change it to currency. Take off the decimal place and click OK. What did I do? Price. This is currency. Click OK. And this too is formatted to currency. and I'll click OK. So that's the formatting we need for the data. Let me confirm with us if this is okay now. Okay, so we have this now. So the tool we use for the modeling parts, sorry because of the delay, I'll try and be very fast with this. I'll then skip something, I'll talk about them later. So the next thing we want to do now is to get on with the modeling parts. Now the tool we use for modeling is called pivot table. And how to create a pivot table is we click on any of the data points and we go to insert and we go to pivot table. The pivot table will come up with this instruction whether we want to create the worksheets here that is using existing or want to use a new worksheet, and it will also ask us if we should add this to data model. Now by default, distinct count is not activated in Excel, so by checking this button you automatically activate what is called the distinct count. So I click OK. Okay, somebody is asking for the primary key. What is the product ID here? Okay, so somebody is asking for the primary key. The primary key. Yes, you can simply create the primary key. In this case, there is no primary key. So when a data like this, when there's no primary key, you create the primary key. For today's work, we can proceed without the primary key. So I'll call this the models. So we want to create the models here. We want to create the data models. So let's start with the first one. We have our pivot table. So I click on the pivot table and the pivot table analyze option will come up here. So now in the pivot table analyze, we have 4 things. We have the filter, we have the column, we have the values, and then we have the rows. So the first thing I want to check before we continue is to check the total revenue generated within the period. So I come to this and we have revenue. Just simply drag revenue to values. So it will give us 19,627. And a simple explanation about pivot tables. Pivot tables, we have the filters, the columns, the rows, and the values. Now, what we want to aggregate, meaning what we want to do, for example, sum or count or calculate, any of these, we put it in the value section. Then the dimensions we want to see, the data, we put them in rows and in columns. Then if we want to filter something, maybe we want to select only the males and leave the females, we bring that item to filter. In this case, since we want to calculate the sum of revenue, that is what we have here. We drag it to sum of revenue. Let me make my screen bigger so that we can see the full detail. Okay, so this is the sum of revenue. As it is now, it's not clean. So we right click on it and we use number format. Now, when you're working with pivot table, I advise you use number format instead of format cell. Why? Because number format will help you format the entire table, but format cell will just format only that particular data item. Your KPI to sir, how are you? Okay, somebody's asking your KPI to how are you addressing that? Yes, is the KPI. Interestingly, this one is KPI. I'll explain what KPI is later to everybody, but what we just brought out now is a KPI. So for this particular data, we want to bring out the KPIs first, then we'll begin to build all the charts. So the first KPI we want to bring out is what is the total revenue. So we have we brought revenue to values, and then we right click, and then we see number formats. We use currency because it's money. We remove the decimal places. You can leave the decimal place if you want. So the total revenue generated for this business is 19,628. We have the total revenue sorted out. Now the next KPI we will also need in this particular data, we want to check the total number of units sold. So for the total number of units sold, we just drag the total number, we drag units to values also, and we have 2,121 units. So we have the second KPI. We format it. This one now is number, so keep it as number. We take off the decimal place because remember we don't have 1.5 laptop, so the numbers must be whole numbers. And then we turn on the 1,000 separator, 2,121. The next KPI, the business owner want to know on the average when people come into the shop, how much do they spend on average? So we still need this revenue, but we need the average of the revenue. So we drag this to this point. So it gives us the same answer, the 19,627. But now see what we'll do. We'll come to this point, and instead of using the sum of revenue, we change it to average. And how do we get that? Click on the arrow by the side. You will see value field settings. Click on the value field settings. It will bring up this option. So we're looking for the average amount spent by each customer. So click on average and click OK. To give us 456.4 something. So we change it to currency also. Right click and go to number format. Pick currency, take off the decimal place, and it has 456. That means on average, when customers come to the business, they spend $456K, $456. Okay, the next question, the next KPI we want to bring in is we want to know the total number of products that they sell. So in this case, we do what is called distinct count because we want to count the products one at a time. So if we bring in products into this point, you see we have 43 products. Now, why we have 43? Because presently the system is counting everything in this column. So it will count Apple as 1, count Apple as 2, count HP as 1, HP 2, HP 3. That way, we don't want that. We want, if you count Apple once, that will be all for Apple, and Lenovo, each item just count it once. So when we check here, it's showing counts of products. So what we need is distinct counts. That means count each item only once. So we'll go to value field settings again, and we select distinct count, and we say, okay. Now you can see that we have 5 products, which is exactly what we started with. Also, we want to know the number of sales agents. So we drag sales agents, and it will give us 43 also. And the reason is because we are doing counts. This is the column where we are. So we have, it is, the system will do a maker 1, a maker 2, a maker 3. No, we just want, if you have one maker, ignore every other maker. So in that case, we do what is called distinct count again. Okay, somebody said, please share the data file. I've shared it already. It's in the comments. If you check the previous comments, you can always download the data. Okay, so we go to the agents. We bring in value field settings, and we'll also bring our distinct count again. So we have 11 staff. We will use this as the key items. Then we can check, do one more. We can do one more. Okay, so let's to work with time. We have these as the KPIs. Number 1, we have checked the total sum. We have checked the total number of units. 19,000 was generated within the 2-year period. Total units sold 2,121. The average amount spent, the number of products they have 5, and the number of salespersons 11. So we have these as the KPIs. So I've changed this to KPI. And the next thing, I want to create the models now. So for the models, we'll go back to the dirty data, go to insert, click on the data point, go to insert, add this to data model, and then click OK. So this one, now we call it the models. So for the models, let's start. The first model we want to create, we want to check of the branches, which branch generated the highest revenue. So we bring revenue to values, and then we bring branch to rows. So you can see that we have the three branches, and GRA branch 6,000, town branch 2,000, OG branch 11,000. For those that are very good with VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, this is where you can begin to play with the VLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP formula. And with Power Pivots, you can even make it faster without the stress of writing a lot of formulas. So we have this out. We need to format it quickly. So if we right click, we go to number formats. Number formats, we use currency, no decimal place, and we say OK. So we can see that OG and town and GRA. Now this is what one of the ways to say, to define a data model, that a data model is a smaller version, a subset of the entire data set. So this is the data set. We've created a model to answer a specific business question. So let me make this really interesting. I'll use this page to do all the models. I'll simply come to view and I'll remove grid lines. So I have this. I'll insert a line here. I'll say branch with highest revenue. Let me zoom in so that we can be together. So branch with highest revenue. And we need to sort this. So right click this and go to sort. Let's say we sort it from largest to smallest. So we have the three branches. So OG is the highest branch, 11,000. GRA followed by GRA 6,000. Town, that is 2,000. Very good. We have that model. Now we create a second model. I'll just click here and I go to insert. I'll go to home. Just want to draw a straight line to separate this. I bring, instead of creating, going through pivots, trying to create the model again, I simply copy this one. I select it, select this entire cell, right click to copy, and then we come here and we paste. Okay, so the second one, we want to do products with highest revenue. We want to check the products with the highest revenue. So in this case, we'll take off this branch, just click it, drag it, and we bring in item. Okay, we bring in products to rows. So we can see the products, the five products that they have: Apple, Compact, Dell, HP, and Lenovo. You can quickly just sort this from largest to smallest. So we have this second question answered. Now the third question we want to answer. Let's draw a line and let's copy this table again. Copy it, right click and let's say copy. Come here and paste. Let's say we also want to check the sales trend over the period. So in this case, we take off the products and we bring in the date. Okay, so it's showing us for the 2-year period of seeing the sales in 2014 and in 2015. So let's call this the annual sales trend. Annual sales trend. Okay, good. We create another model again. We copy this and we paste here. So in this case, we want to check the monthly sales trend. So for this particular one, we can simply expand this cell. So for now, it's showing us annual information. So if we right click here, we'll see expand or collapse. So we'll say expand entire cell. Now it's showing us per quarter. So we'll expand the quarter also, right click again, and we'll say expand entire cells. It's showing us per month. So we have the months, the sales trend per month. we create the next one. The next one, we want to check the performance of the salespersons. This one is a bit distorted, so let me copy this one. Copy and paste here. Performance of each sales rep. So in this case, we take off the date information, just drag it out, and then we bring the sales agents. So the 11 sales agents, we can see their performance from Blessing to Uche. Now let's just sort it from let's say from largest to smallest. Has the highest performance, and the lowest performance is Tony. Okay, and we can start with this. We can start the modeling. Now, aside this, we also want to check the performance of each salesperson in their different branches, and we also want to check the monthly performance in each branch for each month. Before we do that, now quickly, let's get into the next one, which is the visuals. Now, the visuals is where we begin to create the charts that will represent these findings. These are our these analysis. So let's start with this one. Now, it's good to use a pie chart. Let me pause for 1 minute and ask us, please. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. If you have any question, you can ask. You can ask your questions. Please, the data file for practice. The data file is in the what is it called? The data file is with in the comment section. You can always download it. You can always download and use. Okay, I'm just pausing for 1 minute to take our questions. Okay. Any question before we proceed? Any challenge? If there's any question or if there's any challenge, we can quickly look at it. Okay, any question? Okay, can we have the data set in the chat section as well? Okay, let me post it again. I placed it before, no problem. I'll just quickly drop it. Drop it for us again. Okay, any other question? Any other question? Okay, somebody say you can stream. Okay, Carlos, no problem. I would love to learn this one from you later. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's proceed with this, with this few. Yes, are we getting, somebody said, are we getting, Augustine asks, are we getting the recording after the class? Yes, this is YouTube. You have access to the recording. Okay, so let's proceed from there. Because we're getting into the visuals now, let's start working on the visuals. So we'll start with the first one. The first visual is for the branches. Now there is a rule that only use pie charts or donut charts or 3 map when the data points they are 6 or less, and when the margin between the points you have a wide margin. At this point, we can use pie charts to create this. So click on any of the data points, go to pivot table analyze, go to pivot charts, and we can pick a pie chart. Okay, so for this first model, we have a pie chart that we intend to use. So we'll prepare the pie chart immediately for dashboard. We don't need any of these buttons to go with us to dashboard. So right click it. We have these charts for dashboard. We have our first chart here. I'm going to have to okay, that's one. I'm trying to read the comments, but let's proceed. Number two, we need to create a chart for the product with the highest revenue. We can simply use a column chart to do that. So click on any data points, go to pivot table analyze, go to pivot charts, and yes, we can use a column chart for that. So this is a column chart. Okay. So this is the column chart. We'll just quickly prepare the column chart for the dashboard. Remove the buttons, right click and say hide all field buttons. We don't need the axis, or you just simply click on this plus. We don't need the vertical axis, so right click and say we don't need the vertical axis. We don't need the legend because it's just one. We don't need the horizontal grid lines. We take it off and we can have it this way. Yeah, so we have our charts. Now we can also bring out the data labels. So click on the plus and we have data labels. Just click on data label. So we have it this way. That's our second chart. Now the third chart is for the years, the sales trend. Okay, so we can click on any of this, go to pivot table analyze. We can use a donut chart to represent that. So we have a donut chart. And we remove all the buttons. Just right click and say hide all field buttons. So we don't have any of these buttons on the scene. Okay, our donut chart will represent this. And okay, then we have the trend for throughout the month. Okay, so click on any data points, go to pivots. In this case, we can use a line chart. So bring in a line chart. Let's take this one down. Okay, so we remove all the buttons. Remove the legend. We don't need the legend. We don't need the grid lines. We don't need the horizontal, the vertical line. And okay, so we have it this way. The trend throughout the period. And the next one is the staff performance. Permit me to reduce this so that we have enough space. Okay, for this one too, we go to pivot table analyze. And let's use a pie chart. Let's use a bar chart, sorry. So a bar chart is okay. We simply right click and say hide all the field buttons. Remove the legend. The grid line, let's use the major horizontal. Remove the vertical. Okay. Then the axis, this time we take off the horizontal axis and we bring up the data labels. Okay. So we have this as the performance of the staff. If we want to reverse this with a maker, the highest one on top and the lowest one down, we can just come to this table and say sort in the reverse order. So sort from smallest to largest. It will reverse the table this way. Okay, we need just two more charts before we get straight to the dashboard. So I click here first and bring out an outline. So we copy this, right click and then say copy. And then we come to this point and we paste it. So in this particular part, what we're looking for now, we're looking for their performance with respect to their branches. So we bring out the pivot fields and we drag the branch to the columns. In this case, now we can see the performance of each person in each of the branches. So if we go to pivot table and we go to pivot table, pivot charts, we can take this second charts. So we reverse the order of this, sort it from largest to smallest. Okay. So what this is telling us here, hide all field settings. Let me take this off so that we have space. Okay, so what we have is in Emeka is the highest generally in terms of performance. And Emeka in Woji branch, we have Emeka, Tolu, Ibrahim, Chinedu, George, and Tony. They all work in Woji branch. And in GRA branch, we have Chioma, Blessing, and Tobari. Then in Town branch, we just have Uche and Tunde. These are the persons. So we can see the different performance of each person across the branches. That's the beauty of this chart. Okay, so we add one more chart, then we start to work on the dashboard. So we come to this point and we paste one more chart. We copy it and Ctrl V, we paste it there. So this one will be sales person, sales agents per branch, sales agents per branch. Okay. So for this one, we want to see the monthly revenue per year. So if we click on this and then we go to pivot chart analyze and we bring out the field list. Okay, so we take off the sales agents and in the date section, we bring out the months. So these other parts. So we see the performance for the months and we want to see it per year. So bring year up to this point. So for 2014, we can see the performance in January and February. And for 2015, we can also see the performance. If we click on this and we bring a chart, okay, so we have the charts distributed this way. So we have from, let me remove this, so hide the buttons to delete this and take off the line. So within the 2-year period, we can see the sales trend. We have the highest so far. December 2015 at the highest sales. So these are the different charts we will need to do our analysis. And we can quickly see from this the performance when it comes to each of the products, each of the items, each of the dimensions, each of the variables in the data. First, Woji, we discovered Woji is generated the highest revenue within the period. We can check the percentage from Woji alone. Secondly, in terms of the product, HP generated the highest. In terms of year, there's a growth rate for between 2014 to 2015. So 2014 was 9,000, then 2015, 10,000. Okay, we also checked the trend in the sales. And also, if we look at this particular part, we discover that Emeka is performing better compared to Tony and others. Then we can use this one to check who is performing very well in each branch. Then we can use this one also to study the performance in each of the months throughout the year. Okay, so now let's get to the final part of our discussion, which is the dashboard. Please, I want to ask somebody saying, so before we get to the last part, which is the dashboard, let's have a minute to answer questions. Somebody, please, I want to ask, when creating a data, is getting the KPI compulsory? Yes, yes, it's compulsory. One of the things you will need in your data, in your dashboard, is a KPI. There are 5 things that make up a dashboard. One of them is the header, which includes the name or logo of the company and the title of the dashboard. The second one is the KPI, because it summarizes everything in the dashboard. The next question is, okay, somebody said, okay, I'm going to rewatch. Somebody said we are getting the recording. Yes, you get the recording after the class. Okay, any other question before we move on? I want to pause for a minute or two to take our questions. Yes, I want to pause for a minute to. Can I see the chart for revenue and dates? Okay, Chidoze say, can I see the chart for revenue and dates? Okay, revenue and dates. So revenue and dates, we did annual 2014, 2015, then we did monthly. So, and this is the chart. Interestingly, if we want to do per quarter, because where we may likely find information is per quarter. So let's do per quarter to see what the data is telling us per quarter. So if we expand this, expand it to just quarter, and then we create a chart. Okay, interestingly, this is telling us there's something the business owner needs to understand at this point. Let me clean this and then take this off. Now, if you notice, Chidoze, I think you're with me on this, so we can really appreciate what is possible with this chart. You can see that the first quarter in 2014 there was a drop, and first quarter in 2015 there's also a drop here. It can be assumed that in this business, the first quarter there is a drop, so the business owner needs to look into it, or the sales team they need to look into it. Then from second quarter you have an increase, second quarter, third quarter. If you notice here, okay, there was a small drop here, but to an extent you have that increase in second quarter, third quarter, up to fourth quarter. So the business owner can quickly check from this trend, what can we do to avoid this drop in the first quarter. One simple way is to study what they do here in the fourth quarter, assuming the business is not a seasonal business, what they did here in fourth quarter 2014, fourth quarter in 2015, then repeat it in the first and second quarter of every year to make this curve be a steady growth. Okay, yes, any other question? Okay, so let's get to the final part, which is the dashboard. And in the dashboard for today, I'll make the first part of the dashboard, then in the next class we'll finish the dashboard, because this class is supposed to be maximum 1 hour 30 minutes, a 1 hour 30 minutes class. So let's start the dashboard. So to create the dashboard, we want to create a new sheet. We'll go to the first sheet here, and then we just add insert. We have a worksheet, and we click OK to create a blank sheet for us. So let's rename it dashboard. We rename it dashboard. Quickly, we need to clean the dashboard, make it ready for work. So we go to view, and we turn off formula bar, we turn off grid lines, and we turn off heading. It becomes black. We also need to hide this. So drop down any of this and then click on the arrow, and we activate the full screen mode. When we do that, we have a blank area for us to use for our dashboard design. Okay, so for today's class, we'll make something very easy, not complicated. So let's start. We want to start by designing the background of the dashboard. So let's make it, we want to use a light theme dashboard. So let's click on any points, Ctrl A to select all, right click to bring out the color option. Now we use these paint buckets to fill. So let's pick this shade of blue. So this is the background we want to use for our dashboard. Now the next thing is we want to bring out spaces for the charts. So let's go to insert. Let's go to insert, and we go to shapes, and then we bring in a rounded rectangle. Now the the rounded rectangle, just bring in the first one, we'll format this one, then we'll use it to create the remaining ones. Use this small arrow by the edge, just adjust the arrow to have a small curve effect. Okay, we want to make it pure white, so color fill white. If you check, no, sorry, color fill for the shape is white. Then if you check, there is an outline, we don't need that outline, so right click on it and say outline, no outline. So this is the shape we want to use for the templates we want to use to hold all the charts that we have designed. So we need about, let's say, I duplicate it, Ctrl D, 2, and I duplicate it to have a third one. So we can always reshape them later. We have 3, we hold the 3 of them, and we'll go to align, and we'll make all of them, align them to the bottom or align to the top, and we distribute them. Let's say we distribute them horizontally, and we do another Ctrl D again to have a duplicate of this. So we have 6 of these outlined here. We can start bringing in the charts. So let's start with the first chart. We can take this total here as the first chart. We'll bring it and we place it here. Okay, and we take off the outline. We can go to outline and we say no outline. Okay, very good. And let's check for the colors. Okay, just expand this a little. So, yes, we can bring the second. Bring the second one now. Okay, so we can set the color code for each of the items that we intend to use. For this particular one, I'll send us a chart showing us the color codes. So I click on this, I click on this particular one, and I say fill colors, more fill colors. I want to use a particular color code. I want to use DF198E for the color. I click OK. So I have that particular color. I'll send us the color code later so we can always use it for reference. So the right up here will be products. Let's say by products, revenue by products, revenue by products. And to make this really nice, I'll take off the background so there's no background, no field. Okay, so we have the first chart. Now the second chart we want to bring out the pie charts. So copy the pie charts and paste it on our dashboard. Extend it, and we make the outline. Always in all of them, I'll make the outline no outline, and I'll make the color fill no fill. Then for the legend, we can decide that the legend should go down to the bottom part. Then we'll say this is revenue by branch, and we can also play with more colors. We can decide that if you click on, you need to click on it twice. So I click on it once and I click on it a second time. Okay, before that, take off the outline. So click on the chart and say no outline. So that white line is not there. Then click on this one twice. Once, okay. And for the color fill, let's generate another color for it. In this case, let's use green. That is 05DA97. Okay, so someone refilling gas there. Okay, they are moving heavy metals around my neighborhood, so my apologies. Can I see the chart for revenue? Carlos asked a question. Okay, so for this other chart too, we can also color fill and more colors. So we'll go to more colors, we'll come down to these points, and let's use orange color. So F06813, and we click OK. It gives us that color. And for this other color, we can right click on it, the fill color, and we go to more colors, and we say let this color be, what if we give it a purple effect? So we say 5D27B6. Okay, so we have these three colors representing the product by each branch. You can decide to make this a little bigger. Okay, so the next one, we want to bring in another model again. Let's look at the different charts that we have. Okay, we can bring in the performance by the sales rep. So we bring this one. So for this particular one, we need two charts. So I delete this one and we drag this one up here. So we can bring this inside here and reduce it. What we simply do, we need to say outline, no outline, and then for the fill, we say no fill. Now for this particular one, we need to be conscious that these colors we need to match with this one. So where we have Woji, so the color code there, Woji is orange. Woji is orange. So we click on Woji and we click on Woji, that is the blue one, and we say fill Woji with orange. Good. The next one is GRA. GRA is green. This is GRA. Click on GRA. Say fill GRA with green. Then the next one is town. Town is purple. Click town and then say fill town with purple. Okay. So we can reduce this up to this point. We have this showing us the performance, the distribution by each of the branches. So we'll click the plus sign. Let's take the legend. Let's take the legend to the okay, let's take the legend to the bottom, and then let's bring in the chart title. So this is rep sales agents. This is revenue by sales agents by branch. Okay, so the next one we also need, we can bring this one here. We want to see the annual performance. So we'll come and we'll copy this, and we'll come here and we'll fix this one here. Okay, so we reduce the charts up to this level, and we bring the legend to the down part. To the bottom, we add a chart title, and we can pick any two colors. In this case, let's use for the blue. For this one, we give it the green color. So let's add a green color. Let's add a blue color. So the code for the blue color is 09C9 see it. Okay, and then we click the second one. This one we can give it the purple color. Okay, so we have these two. So the performance for each year between 2014 and 2015. This one will say revenue by months by year. Okay, then we'll just bring in one more model. Let's, which other one do we have? Okay, we have two more. So we have the total performance per year. So we can add, okay, let's bring in a line chart first. Let's bring in this line charts. So we copy these line charts and we want to paste these line charts here. We can reduce this one a little and so we bring this one. Okay, so these are the charts. We can extend these charts now to be up to these points, and we bring this one inside here. Okay, and we take off the outline, so no outline, and we also say for the fill, we say no fill. Okay, to make this pop out a little, let's create an effect to make this pop out a little. So the effect will be, we'll fill this with a color. So let's fill this with give us a sounding effect. Okay, so let's take this color. Then for the line, we just make it a white color. Then I just want to use it to create effects. So normally in presentation, we'll put the data, but just to create effects. So right click on it and then come down here and then say smooth line and increase the width of the line. So we can have these effects on that particular chart. Okay. So we have this distribution and one more chart. We need one more chart. So Control D, copy this up to these points, and we bring it down here. Select the two charts, come to Format, and they say Align Left. Okay. Okay, we just increase this a little. By the time we add the slicers, you really will really begin to see the effect of these data on each of the points that we're working with. Okay, so we add, this is where we have these charts. So we have this chart here. Right click on it and we say no outline, and in the color we say no color. We bring the legend down bottom, and then we say this is revenue by year, and we have 2014. So still maintain this color. 2014 is 2014. Click on it first, the two of them. We took off the outline from the chart, no outline. Then we click on this, click on one of the charts, sorry. Click. Okay, so the color for this 2014, we use the green, and for the 2015, we use the purple, and then for 2014 we use the green. Okay, so this distribution is okay. And the next topic we want to talk about now is bringing in the KPIs, bringing in the slicers, sorry. So to control this chart, we need slicers. So let me bring in one slicer. So if I go to pivot chart analyze, I select a chart first, go to pivot chart analyze, I'll see insert slicer. So the main question the business owner wants us to get insight is about the branches. So we'll bring a slicer for branches, and we can bring other slicers. But let's start with that one first, branches, and we just click OK. So this is a branch now. Now, if I click on this slicer, you can see it controls one branch, meaning GRA, the entire business, they have 5 products, but GRA sells only 4 products. Town sells 4 products, and HP is still the highest. GRA 4 products, HP is the highest. WOG 5 products, HP is the highest. So this slicer for now can control only one chart. We want to make this slicer to control all the charts. So to do that, we do what is called report connection. So if you right click on this and go to report connection, what you simply do is to check all the boxes. For now, only one chart is selected. So we select all the charts. And we click OK. Good. Now, if we slice, you can see it controls the entire chart. It's controlling every chart. So quickly, we can begin to see certain things. Number one, let's go to GRA. Okay, GRA, we can see GRA, they have 4 products with HP being the highest. And GRA, their performance was high in 2014 and very low in 2015. So there's a drop in performance in GRA. And we can see that 3 persons work in GRA, meaning Chioma, Blessing, and Tobari. And we noticed this interesting trend that many of the months in 2015, GRA, they stopped working. So from July, there have been no reports in August, September, October, November, December. So there's something in GRA. In 2014, they did not do anything in February. So this is what is happening in GRA. Now let's go to town. In town, there is increase in performance between 2014 and 2015, but the bad part is they did not work all year round. You can see the number of months. They only worked in March, May, August, September, October. So in 2014, they only worked March and May. That's all. That is interesting. Then they have 2 persons in that branch. Then if you go to WOG, we also see the performance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 persons working there. HP is the highest. They sold all year, but in 2015 September, there was no sales recorded in 2015 September, and in 2014 March, no sales also. This is also something the company needs to look into. So there's a lot of missing information in this data. We'll look at them. So we want to design the place the section for our slicers. So let's bring in a chart. Let's bring in a template to hold it for us. So just duplicate this. We have this template here. So we hold this 2, and then we say format it to align to the left. Okay. And let's work on our slicer. So for the slicer, what we do is see this. If this happens, that's not a challenge. Just send this one to back. So right click on this one and then say send to back. Okay, now how to format slicer? A lot of persons have asked me this question. How do you format slicer? So we want to format the slicer to look something like this. Let's first look at which color will suit this point very well. If we fill it with orange color, it's good because we already have purple, we have green already. So let's fill it with orange color. So we want our points for our slicers to be orange. So now how do we work with format this slicer to blend with this color? So click on the slicer, go to slicer in your menu, and in the drop down you see new slicer styles. So we want to format the entire slicer, the whole slicer. So click on whole slicer and say format. In slicer you can format three things. You can format the font, the border, and the fill. So click on the fill and go to more colors. We want to set the color to that orange color. The orange color for now is F06813, and we click OK. If I click OK and I click OK, nothing changes. Simply come back to the slicer. You see the one we have done. Just click on it. Good. So we have this first effect. Next thing, we want to make the color of the slicer white. So we'll come back to this and then we right click on the slicer and we say modify. Now in modify, we'll go to selected item with data and we click on format. Now we'll go to more colors and we set it to white. And we set it to white and we say okay, and we say okay, and we say okay. So we'll have this as our slicer and it is okay. Let the slicers be this way, yes. So you can see the slicer fits into the background. So this text here, this branch, we can change the branch color to white or something, but let's leave it for this so that we can meet up. And let's add one more slicer. Should we add one more slicer to represent the products? Let's see the performance of the products. Let's add one more slicer. So click on a chart, go to pivot chart analyze, click on the charts, go to pivot chart analyze, click insert slicer. Let's see products and sales agents. We'll pick one of these two. Let's see which one will enter here comfortably. If we bring in sales agents, it's too long, so much. Okay. So what we can do this, then we do one for ye. Okay. So simply to format the slicer, we don't need to take time. Just click on the slicer and go to slicer and just click on this one. So it will format it automatically. That's the beautiful thing working with slicers. So we can make the number of categories 2. So we have the slicer this way. Okay, so our slicers, they are all set. And what else? What else? Okay, so quickly, let's work on our KPIs for this particular work. Okay, please let me pause for 1 minute and then ask us questions. Any challenge so far, or should I proceed? What's the title for the line charts? Okay, I'll add title to the line charts. Okay, somebody said, what's the title for the line charts? I'll add a title to the line charts. Any question before we proceed? Any questions? Sorry for the background music. Please, we'll just continue with it and see how far we can go before the end of the day. Okay, so the next part we want to bring in the KPIs now. So for the KPIs, we simply bring in we insert, for the KPIs, we insert a shape. So we want to do just And let's format this. Okay, before we format it, let's bring in the formula bar. We need the formula bar. So view, bring out the formula bar. Okay, so for the KPIs, one of the easiest ways to work with KPIs is to extract the values. So come down here, click equal to, and there's so instead of doing that, so come inside here, click equal to, then the name of this particular cell is A4. Just type A4 and press enter. This one is B4, press enter. This one is C4. This one is D4. And this one is equal to E4. Okay, so we have these KPIs. Let's start with the first one. So the first KPI I want to bring is what is the total sales, total revenue. So select the KPI, come to the formula bar, click equal to, and go to the KPI, and then we click on this, so we press enter. So we have that value. The beauty of doing this instead of copy and paste is now the slicers can also control this. You can see the number is changing. It's telling us the total sales made by each branch. That's the effect of doing it this way. So at this point, we say no fill. We remove the outline, no outline. We have it there as a KPI. So we need a background. Let's just copy one of these backgrounds, duplicate it, bring it here. And we can have this crazy cover. So send this one to back. Okay, so if we increase the font size to, let's say 20, and we make it bold. Let's see. Okay, so 20 and bold seems to be okay. Let's increase this to 24. Okay, so we bring in a simple write-up here. Just bring in another text box. You can simply bring another shape. Sorry, another shape. And we just, inside here, we just type total revenue. We'll remove the outline, no fill, and no outline. And we make the text a shade of, not completely black. We make it this shade. Okay, and we'll increase the font size. Let's see what 14 will look like. Okay, so total revenue for the period, we have this. Okay, and if this is 2, okay, how many of them do we need? Number 2, if we have number 2 here, 3, 4, 5. Oh, very good. We can have 5 of it distributed this way. We can. Okay. So we have this. We can, to make it, this one can have a major color. Let's do a change for this major one. Let's do this major one to be the main color. I will make the text to be white. Okay, so the total revenue, and we'll add an icon to that. So let's say bring in an icon. Okay, so let's take this one as an icon and then we'll bring it here. So what I typed there, I typed income or money. If you type any of them, it will still give you the same thing. So the beautiful thing with icons is that you can change the color. So we right click it and we say fill it, we fill it with white. Okay, so we have this one as our icon. We have this one as our first KPI. See the beautiful thing, if we slice through this data, everything is slicing correctly. So we can see that for Woji branch, for example, the total sales for Woji branch is 11,000 plus. For Town branch is 2,000 plus. For GRA branch is 6,000 plus. So we can slice through how much did HP bring in. HP brought in a total of if we slice through HP brought in a total. Okay, we did not do report connection for HP. So right click on HP and then do report connection. Oh, that's true. Right click on that slicer, the product slicer, and then report connection. Okay, so now if we slice it, HP brought a total of 9,000. HP is sold in all the branches. We check Compaq, if we check Apple, if we check Dell, and if we check Lenovo. So the slicers, they're working perfectly. Okay, very good. So we simply duplicate this now and paste in all of them. So duplicate, and we just bring it down here. We change it to black, so it will help us. Okay. Okay. So for this second one, remember this one, the first one is A6. The second one is B6. So just to save time, I'll come to this point and I'll change the A to B. Change it to B and I'll press enter. So we have 2,121. Now instead of formatting this all over again, I click on this. There's something called Format Painter. Click on Format Painter. Then come inside there and click on this. It will format it automatically. Simply we change the color to black. So we have it as 2,121. We can shift this to the edge. So we have it this way. Then we change this one to change it. Let's use this one. Okay, so this is total units. Units. Okay. Okay, so you can bring in a KPI for that too. You can bring in a KPI for that. You can say laptop. Okay. Okay, we'll use laptop in the number of products. So let's bring in another KPI. Let's say, okay, let's say we want to count. What KPI now can we use to count? Let's see. Okay, so let's take any of these. We can just use this. Okay, so since it's orders, you can just take this one. Okay, so the color codes to use for here. We can use any of the colors. Let's say we want to use let's use this one. So this will also maintain the same color here. Let's see what it will be like. Let's see. Okay. So we copy this two. We select these two and we duplicate it, and we come to these other points. This time we want to look at um, the average amount spent by each customer. So this one now will be C6. So remove it and then type C, press enter. Remember, format painter, click on this one, go to format painter and click here to format it for us. Okay, so average average amounts spent. So we just reduce the font size. Okay, let's just say average spent. Okay, average spent 456, and so let's take the everything we need. So let's use average spent. Then let's bring it team. Let's bring in employees. Bring this one for team. And okay, so these two KPIs. So we don't. So we use this one for average spent. Okay, so average spent, which color do we use now? Okay, so let's use the pink color, and we come down to home here, and then we use also the pink color. Okay. Yes, and the next one. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, so we duplicate this again. Duplicate this to have this here. So the next one is count of products. So count of products. So say number of products. Okay, so this one will be D6. So D6 is showing us 5. So click on this one. Let's format painter again. Format painter, and we click. Oh, click on this one. Format painter. Oh. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. So let me bring this one out so I can work on it. Click on this, and I go to Format Painter. And I click on this. Okay, finally. Okay, so 5 products that they have. We'll use the laptop. Is the icon there. Okay, so in terms of color, we can use green for this. Green color. Yep. And then we use green color for this also. So we'll go to home and we take the green color. Yep. And the last one, the last one, so this one will be ABCD, this one will be E6. Okay, so let's format it. Click on this one, format painter, and click on this one. So, okay, why is it acting this way? So bring it down here. So click on 5, go to format painter, and then click on 11. Okay, so 11, that is number of agents. Okay, and then we drag this down there. Okay, so, and which color can we, you can use orange color on this. So orange color, and the agents here we can use orange color too. Okay, so we have this as our simple design. Then the last one is our logo for the business. So on 2D we can have the logo here. Okay, so we can simply type, we can bring in the text box, and we duplicate this text box, and we come down here, and this, the name of the business is Tech PH Computers. Okay, so we make this bold, and let's say it's 20. Okay. Okay, so we can have this as the name of the company. So then we can have the title of the dashboard. I can do a duplicate of this, and the title of the dashboard is Sales Dashboard 2014/2015. We can reduce the entire thing to, we can reduce it to 11, and we can make it a shade of black. Yes, then we can align it towards the left. Okay, so we can have this, and then we have this here. Oh, we can still bring this one down here. Let's increase this to 24. Reduce it to 22, and yeah, 22 seems better. Okay, that was an interesting run. There are some analysis we should do to answer the business question we started with, but I'll do one or two very fast. The hypothesis we started with, meaning the business question, the question from the business owner was, what are some of the factors responsible for revenue generated by a branch? Now we have seen that Woji branch is the highest, followed by GRA, and then followed by town branch. What can we get from looking at this? Now, this is one of the things that we can get quickly is looking at the number of people working in the branch. So for Slice Woji, for example, Woji's total sales was 11. The number of units is 1,199. The amount spent, average amount spent by their customers is 464. Let's see, 464, okay, 464. Then the number of products they sell is 5. The number of agents they have is 6. If we go to town branch, we discover that town branch, they did, okay, let me go to GRA first. If we go to GRA branch, it's around 6,000 and they have agents. If we go to town, we see in town branch, they sold 2,000 and it is 2 agents. You discover that the more the number of sales agents, the more the number of sales in that particular branch. So to an extent, one of the hypotheses we can make it clear to the business owner is the number of staff in OG is 6, in GRA is 3, and town is 2. So there's a pattern there when you relate that to the revenue generated by that branch. So we can say that there's a relationship between number of staff and revenue. And when you check the data further, because of time, but when you check the data further, you discover that there is also a relationship between the average pricing, even the number of working days is also related to the revenue generated. But what we can see clearly from this one now is with respect to the number of staff, that in OG, where we have the highest sales, we have 6 staff. In GRA, where we have the second highest, we have 3. And in town, where we have the lowest, we have 2. So there's a relationship between this particular 2. So what can we recommend in this case? Then we can recommend that the minimum number of staff per branch should be 5. Because for now, we can assume there's a relationship between the number of staff and the revenue generated. Now, assuming all other things are kept constant, we can tell the business owners one of the recommendations we make. One of the insights we discovered had to do with the number of staff, and the recommendation from that is minimum number of staff per branch should be at least 5, and other things will follow. So with this, I want to say thank you very much. It was this is 2-hour class. Wow, this is interesting. Complete 2-hour class. It takes a lot to be online for 2 hours to go through this. I'll quickly take 1 or 2 questions before I wrap it up. 1 or 2 questions. While the questions are coming up too, as a way of concluding, I also want to just let us know, for those that are interested, you can also get my full course on seller. I have a full course on HRO attrition on seller, and you can see the dashboard and the course, the full outline in that particular I'll drop the link so that you can also look at it. I will encourage you to have it. This class, another section, will hold next Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. and we'll be looking at another data set. Also, we have a Facebook group community. You can join the Facebook community, and you can also learn with us. Now, the link to my course, I've just shared the link. It's on Sellers, www.seller.co/Q68817. Is a complete HRO analysis course. Interestingly, the first week that the course came out, 4 persons finished the course and they got their certificates. And we also have a community for all persons that have the course. We have a community where we meet. Let me just show you parts of the screen for the course. For those that are interested, you can also check out the course. I would really love to invite you to also look at it as one of the things that will help you build your data analytics skill. Okay, interestingly, Seller is not making that option to click on that particular web page, but the link to the course is here, and the idea is to show us what is possible when it comes to data analytics. Here we just did a summary. There are many things we need to do concerning more like in-depth analysis, correlation, to check if there's a pattern that we can learn from and make recommendations to the business owner. So on a closing note, I'll take 2, 3, 4 questions and we'll go on with that. So please, at this point, can we have this discussion concerning our questions? You can ask your questions now. I'm looking at the comment section, so to answer all the questions. This is huge. Okay, Comforts Michael said, this is huge. Thank you, sir, for your time and energy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Comfort Esther. I would also encourage us on our different platforms, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you can also share. Now, on a closing note, I have also generated another data set, and I want us to work on it. So between now and Saturday next week, I want you to work on this data set, practice it. What I'll do is in the community, I will share the entire data set, and I'll give you instructions to how to submit it. But if you're here, check the description after this. I'll also drop it. Take these data sets. One thing is learning and one thing is practicing. So what we just did now, you have learned, we did this together. The next thing now is for you to be able to practice this on your own. So take these data sets and then practice it and then submit what you have done. I can make corrections. I can even invite you to our community. Who knows, I can even give you free access to the next course I'm building, which is a complete sales analysis. Okay, thank you very much. Link to join the community. For now, just click on my Facebook. This is me on Facebook. Just say hi on Facebook. So just follow me on Facebook, number one. You can follow me on Facebook, or you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Facebook, or you follow me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn handle, linkedin.com/in/Etuk Anyeti. Then on Facebook is on facebook.com/Etuk Anyeti. Then if you want to, we have a WhatsApp. This is our WhatsApp contact number. You can say hi on WhatsApp. Then I'll send you the data for the practice I want you to work on and other details. So thank you very much and have a good night.